Everyone, welcome back to another installment of The Refill. If you're new here, this is where I break down the biggest stories in pharmacy and mental health in a clear and concise way. Starting with story number one, a common drug used to treat sickle cell disease may not help to improve sleep issues in children. Now, this story hits a little close to home for me because some of my relatives actually have sickle cell disease. But a new report suggests that hydroxyurea, which is a common drug used to treat sickle cell disease, may raise blood oxygen levels during sleep in children. But it doesn't seem to meaningfully lessen sleep disturbances. Sickle cell disease, or SCD, is a genetic condition where the body makes a faulty version of hemoglobin, which is the red protein or the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. Those red blood cells become stiff and sickle-shaped, blocking blood and blood flow and limiting oxygen delivery. Obstructive sleep apnea is already common in children with sickle cell disease. And according to a new study published in the journal Blood, Red Cells, and Iron, whether treated or untreated with hydroxyurea, sleep apnea remained a concern. Researchers also noted that children with sickle cell disease have a higher rate of sleep disturbances than the general population. And when you combine that with sleep apnea, it can trigger red blood cell sickling, leading to even more hospitalization. And here's what the team wanted to find out. They hypothesized that hydroxyurea would increase oxygen levels at night, improve sleep quality, and reduce apnea. To test that, they looked at data from 425 children with sickle cell disease who had at least one comprehensive sleep study at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta between 2013 and 2023. Out of that group, 287 received hydroxyurea. 138 didn't receive any therapy. And the results were that the kids on hydroxyurea had higher oxygen saturation, but about half of the children in both groups still had sleep apnea. So the bottom line is that hydroxyurea alone likely isn't enough to manage sleep problems in kids with sickle cell disease. This study really challenges earlier, smaller reports and highlights the need for larger studies and better data sharing across national databases. And speaking of new research in sickle cell disease, story number two is related. Here, the first patient was enrolled in a phase 1B trial of a new drug designed to boost fetal hemoglobin. Horizon Genomics has officially enrolled the first patient in a new investigational study for its oral therapy, iadatamstat. Now, for context, clinical trials go through four main phases. Phase 1 focuses on safety and making sure the drug is tolerated before moving to larger trials. This particular study, called Restore, will enroll up to 40 adults age 18 and older with sickle cell disease across several sites in Spain. As mentioned, sickle cell disease stems from a genetic mutation that produces abnormal hemoglobin. Those misshapen red blood cells cause painful vaso-occlusive crises, or VOCs, or VOCs, and other severe complications. Iadatamstat works by blocking LSD1, which is an enzyme that regulates gene activity. And by doing so, it may boost fetal hemoglobin, the kind that actually resists sickling. Restore data will also help determine the right dosage for a potential phase 2 trial. All right, this is where I wanted to do a mid-show check-in and say that if you're new here to The Refill, this segment keeps you up to date on what's happening in mental health and pharmacy without the fluff. But before you go, check out my podcast, the Mindful PharmD podcast, where I offer thought-provoking conversations about mental health, mindfulness, and how to build better relationships overall. And if you're enjoying this channel or enjoying this segment, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and it'll help you prevent from missing the next video. All right, so insurance coverage has been a hot topic lately in both the news and in Washington, D.C. And this next story, though, may hit close to home for a lot of people who have ever been denied insurance coverage. The story number 3, insurance company denies 16-year-old mental health treatment despite a high risk. After years of mental health struggles, a 16-year-old from Michigan attempted suicide earlier this year. His family rushed him to the ER and then to an inpatient behavioral health facility in Grand Rapids. The doctor there said that he needed residential treatment. So following that advice, the family quickly found him a bed at Newport Academy in Washington. In the months that followed, They made big sacrifices. For example, the mom quit her job, they scaled back expenses, and they even sold off parts of their rare Stephen King collection. In his discharge, the hospital wrote that the patient was too unstable to function outside of the hospital. Treatment needs cannot be met in a lower level of care. That's what the hospital said. But the family's insurance company disagreed. Just 5 days after he entered treatment, they received a letter denying coverage, saying it wasn't medically necessary. According to federal data, mental health care in the United States cost about $106 billion in 2019. And yet this family had to fight for care. They appealed 3 times and were denied all 3 times. Finally, after threatening to sue, the insurance company settled with the family. And I'm happy to report the young man completed his treatment, and thankfully, he is doing much better. My thoughts and prayers are with this family as they continue to navigate this situation. Here's today's poll question. Have you or someone you know ever been denied coverage for a critical health need? You can answer yes or no in the response and in the comments below. Rounding out today's refill with story number 4, FDA advisors explore a possible future with chatbot mental health care. Just last week, the FDA's Digital Health Advisory Committee met to discuss whether chatbots can safely and effectively provide mental health care. Their goal was to explore how agencies might build guardrails around new digital health technologies, especially those powered by AI. The focus was on generative AI tools that could diagnose, treat, or even prevent mental health conditions. And here's some context. About 61 million adults, nearly 1 in 4, live with a mental health condition, and roughly 1 in 5 children have been diagnosed with a mental health, emotional, or behavioral. However, there are also serious concerns. In one tragic case reported by the New York Times, ChatGPT may have played a role in the suicide of a 16-year-old named Adam Rain. The FDA committee raised key questions such as, should chatbots be licensed? How do we stop them from impersonating real clinicians? And when should users be able to escalate an issue to a human professional, for example? Would they just use a one-tap method? Some members of the committee saw promise. For example, Jessica Jackson, who is a PhD from Mental Health America, noted that digital tools have helped some students manage stress. Others, though, in the committee raised ethical questions, like especially about AI being built into children's toys or teddy bears as emotional companions. It's a fascinating and slightly unsettling look at where mental health care could be in the next 10 years. All right, that's the refill for today. If you found this helpful, be sure to tap like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'm Dr. Harrell, and thanks again for watching and listening to The Refill. And until next time, remember to breathe, carry what matters, let go of the rest, and stay mindful.